All right. So for those of you who are watching this program on YouTube, welcome to our STEAM book club. I just wanted to let you know that we just read a story about rain. And if you like to read any stories about hurricanes or rain from home, then you could use your Hoopla account. So with your Oceanside library card, you have access to Hoopla. That's Hoopla digital. And you can use your library card to read ebooks from home. All right, so we're going to get started by talking about hurricanes now. So I am going to share my screen with you guys. Okay. Let's see. So we see here that we have a picture of a hurricane. Let's go on to the next slide. So hurricanes are huge storms with lots of rain and strong winds. And these winds can be up to 200 miles per hour, which are super, super fast. And we see in this picture here, do you see this map? We see this picture here that hurricanes form a spiral shape. Do you see this spiral shape of clouds? And hurricanes form over water, specifically over warm water. They get all of their energy to make a super big storm from warm tropical water. So let's go on to the next slide here. So lots of hurricanes stay over water and never make it onto land. So sometimes we'll just get a little bit of rain from a hurricane that stays out at sea. But when the hurricane does make it on land, sometimes they cause a lot of damage because those winds are so fast and the rain is so strong. So sometimes they can knock over power lines, there can be a lot of flooding, and the waves can be as tall as 4-story buildings. Think about how tall that is. So in this diagram here, if you guys can see this, we have the eye at the center of the hurricane. And did you know that the eye is the calmest part of the storm? And then we have the eye wall here, which is the strongest part. So that's just outside of the eye. And we also see that the bands, if you look at this diagram here, the bands of the hurricane always spin counterclockwise. They rotate that way. Okay, so now that we learned a little bit about hurricanes, we are going to be doing our experiment in just a minute. So you'll need a large round bowl that you fill with water and a few drops of food coloring and a spoon, or you could just use your finger to turn the water counterclockwise like a hurricane. So I am going to stop sharing my screen for a second, and I'll come back over to you all. Does anybody have any questions so far about hurricanes? Okay, we're going to start our experiment. I'm going to take you all over here to my kitchen where I have the bowl set up. Okay, so let's see. All right, so we have our bowl here, and I'm just going to fill it with some water. And I want to fill it pretty high so there's enough room, but not too high because the water might splash around, but that's okay. All right, and just like a hurricane turns counterclockwise, let's see if you could see it, I think you can. Just like a hurricane turns counterclockwise, you could use your finger or a spoon. We're going to stir the water counterclockwise, and we're going to stir it for about 10 seconds. So I'm gonna open my food coloring just so it's ready for me once I stop spinning. All right, so we're going to spin it counterclockwise for 10 seconds. Everybody count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'm going to take out my spoon and drop some food coloring right in the center of the bowl. All right. And we see the hurricane form. I know it's hard to see from the laptop, but we see those bands moving outward. So the storm where we put the food coloring right in the center, that was the eye of the storm. And then the bands spiral outwards. All right, and you could even do it again. And you could use any kind of food coloring. Perfect, that looks great. I'm so glad you guys were able to do it. All right, and let's do it one more time. And I'm going to mix it really well. And I'm going to create my eye of the hurricane. And look at those bands moving outward. So we have the eye in the middle, and then the band spiraling outward, and it's spinning counterclockwise. So that's how hurricanes form, and those always form over warm tropical water. All right, I hope everybody had fun with that experiment. And then I also just have one last bit of information for you, which I thought was pretty interesting. So scientists, I know that on the news we always hear when there is a new hurricane, they name them, right? So there was Hurricane Katrina and all different hurricanes. And if you wanted to know how they named them, scientists have come up with those names since 1953, and every year they start at the beginning of the alphabet, so it doesn't continue where they left off the previous year. And then every 6 years those names repeat. So I just thought that was kind of interesting, and maybe a hurricane will even have your name at some point. All right, does anybody have any questions for me? It looks like we're having fun, right? All right. So hold on one second. I'm just going to stop this recording, but I hope everybody's enjoying.